Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having us.
No worries. Everybody who's tuning in right now, this is Big Red Fire Truck. Thank you for joining us on West Underground today.
Yeah. Lovely to be here.
No worries. So tell us about yourselves. Let's go from this way. Who are you? Tell us a bit of a backstory about yourselves and start from there.
My name's Digsby. I started the band because I wanted to play music like Van Halen and The Darkness. And just the fact that Frankie's was open and it gave us a place to play that stuff, I decided we'd do it. So I got Pete, the drummer, and I started working on some stuff, and then he brought Frazer into the band on bass.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just become like a passion project for me, really, because I've got a lot of work doing other music, but this is the fun stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, you get to go out and just kind of rip it up and get drunk and party.
Yeah, quite similar actually. Played bass my whole life. Obviously, friends with the drummer, and these two went back quite a way and got asked to get on board. So yeah, we're doing it for quite a few years now, and yeah.
One of the only original members of the band.
Yeah, true.
I think we've had about 9 or 10 different.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the guitarist.
Well, because my other band, we travel a lot, and it gives me the opportunity to open for them at really good venues. We did the Enmore last year, so we took the opening spot at the Enmore, which was really cool. But
what did that feel like playing at the Enmore Theatre?
Well, you start this because I had done it before with the Furnace.
Yeah, I'd never done it. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a great feeling. You know, pumped up crowd, ready to go. So, yeah, I'm pretty keen to do it again if you can arrange it.
Oh, mate, I don't think we'll ever get to do that again.
Sure.
But it was because they're a high energy crowd, because the other band's like a covers band.
Yeah.
And so you go in and it's just like there are a lot of venues like Enmore around Australia. The great thing about Enmore is it's got, you can see every single person in the room, because it's quite a steep kind of room. So when you play in somewhere like the Forum in Melbourne, it's flat and long, and you can't really connect with more than a third of the audience. So Enmore, you can see everyone. It's all really light. It's really great, and it's just loud, and it's a really big stage too for the size of the venue. It's quite a deep stage, so you can do a lot with it for like bands coming in. They could certainly do a lot more because you've just got so much room. So there's a lot of the venues that side have these really skinny stages, so all you can do is kind of like squeeze the band on. Like Metro's like that.
That's if you've got a wireless.
Because I feel like most bands in Sydney, like that's like the, you know, you aspire to play at, the Enmore Theatre.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a cheat for us, really. So it didn't really count. But it still didn't mean it didn't feel great. Just we didn't really earn it. I just kind of was like, well, I'll just get these guys and we'll test out some stuff. We actually filmed the film clip for our third single, Point of Love. We filmed us performing that song and just mixed it with some other shots of that show, and that became the film clip for that song, which was really cool. So the best thing was just being able to have a document of the fact that we did it. It was it was great. It was really good.
Oh wow.
So yeah, any time you get a chance to play a venue like that,
there's a lot of energy in that room. It was good fun.
Yeah, the volume. It's something about that volume too. Having everything just feels loud and big, and you've got a bit of.
Did you feel it in your chest?
Mate, you can feel it everywhere. It's great. It was great.
Yeah.
And having a good crowd made it really good too. Like
Did
a
you feel
responsive
it out,
crowd.
What was the capacity?
By the time we finished, it was probably, what do you reckon, 3/4? Almost full.
Yeah.
But for the start of the set, whenever you play at the Enmore, because you have to finish by 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So if you're opening there, you start quite early. So it's like doors 15 minutes and you start. So at the start there was maybe like 500 people there, max, absolute max. Maybe not even that many. But by the end of the show, there's about 1,500 people there. So it just grows and grows and grows as you play, which makes it really cool.
I'm surprised people turn up late.
Their loss. Yeah, no matter.
No?
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know. Like when we booked it for the Furnace, you have to go, like, just to be clear, we are going on at 9, so don't be late. And people are still late, like, because you've got that assumption that, like, it's like the ticket says, 8 o'clock, but
it'll be 9:30 depends on the setup.
So that makes it hard. I think I've seen The Darkness there a few times, and they only ever have one support, so there's not that. So you don't rush people in.
feel like that's what anybody does if you go to any stadium shows and stuff like that. Like, you always like, let's push it right to the last minute because you don't want to be...
it was like that Guns N' Roses stadium where they were like 20 minutes late as well.
Exactly.
So people have that prediction of if they're late, everyone else is late as well.
Well, we've gone on late in this other band because people haven't, like, we want it to be full and we don't want people to miss it. So there's that case as well. But I mean, I don't think we've had that problem with Big Red Fire Truck yet.
Yeah.
That's good. Well,
Come on.
It's good then.
Yeah. We just have to get bigger venues, really.
Yeah. So speaking of Big Red Fire Truck, what was the inspiration behind the name?
That's what Pete, our drummer, used to call me. So he and I used to work at More Music in Warringah Mall. And he didn't know me very well then. Because he left. Is that when you guys went to Singapore or whatever?
Yeah, China. Yeah.
Yeah, China. They went to China to do these covers shows. And I took his job. I was what, 24, and then he came back and we started working together. Also, who worked with us was Miles from the Dead Love. He was working there as well, and we used to just give each other shit all the time. And he used to just call me the Big Red Fire Truck and make noises when I walked around. So when we were discussing a name, he was like, "Let's do Big Red Fire Truck." We all had a good laugh. I was like, "Yeah, I don't want the name to be a reference of me. I just want it to be a band name." Because before, like, I'd had another band earlier and it was just my name and I just didn't like that. And then it just kind of didn't go away. And then I was like, Big Red Fire Truck? I said, okay, let's do it. All right. And we just, once we like decided, I was like, that's what it's going to be. And it ended up being good because it's a stupid name and it's a bit of fun and the band's a bit of fun. That's
it's working well for you guys so far. So
you probably get like a lot of children looking up on YouTube.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Mum,
you're trying
to watch Big Red Truck.
It's too heavy for me, Mum.
Well, it's a good thing we haven't done any graphic videos yet.
Yeah.
If you do try and Google it, though, it's kind of interesting. So.
It took a while to get the Google thing up there. It took us ages. It wasn't until we did our last EP that if you Googled us, it would just go, did you mean Big Red Truck or Fire Truck? It would just give you anything else but us.
Yes,
but now, if you search us, it does come up, thank God.
You just have to add the word band
I
afterwards.
was going to say.
Yeah, that's annoying. But it's getting better. And once we do some more music, it should improve. It's always hard, isn't it, when you're starting out?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest things to do is start a band. You know what I mean? You first get gigs, and it's like, how do you progress from there? And it's like, all right, how are we going to put out a single and kind of work your way through the ranks?
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to afford it too?
Exactly.
Probably was the big one.
That's
how
the
are you
big
going to
one,
afford it?
You when started band, you played cover songs and all. Did you guys have any cover songs when you first started as well?
Yeah. What did we do when we started? What was the first one we did when we started?
Van Halen stuff.
We played Panama.
Yeah,
everyone could play Panama, and I just wanted to play some Van Halen.
Everybody knows it.
Everyone knows the song. And then when Prince died, we started doing Purple Rain. And that went.
Were you singing it?
Yeah. So that went so much better than we thought it would because we were like,
everybody loved it.
It was just like, it's kind of a rock ballad. This could work. So we tried it and it went off. So we started doing that like mid-show. For anyone who was not paying any attention to us, suddenly everyone was paying attention. So we did that for a little while, and then we went back to Van Halen and did like Feel Your Love Tonight. I always like to have one in the set, just for people who don't give a shit, might give a shit when they hear that. And I think people like to see that you can do that stuff. Well, and sometimes you just want the opportunity to play cool songs.
Yeah, exactly.
We did Night Train once. That was
that's such a great song.
Yeah, I fucked that. That was we never do that again. I couldn't sing it well enough. So we
do the Axl Rose like.
Well, I did. If I do it, it ruins my voice. So I try not to. And it was right at that peak moment after the solo, and I did it. I was like, didn't
and
know
the show's
that.
over.
We did Chandelier with Emmy from Red Hook for our single release.
I forgot about that.
She was sick. I was, and we didn't practice enough. That didn't go so well.
Oh no!
So she had a cold, so she couldn't sing in the high register, and it was just like we should have just cut it. No, they didn't complain, but it was like we could have really fucking nailed it, and we just it was unfortunate. It happens a lot with this band because I'm busy working. We go out drinking all the time, and I need to not have been drinking or shouting the night before to sing a lot of the stuff we do because it's quite high. So that's hard to keep consistent. Yeah. So now I've got to be like, the week of a gig, I'd be like, just don't talk. Just don't have the night out.
Just be on silent.
Cotton wool.
Always happen to have a night out before our gigs. It really fucks us.
Just probably have to refuse, like, oh, no, can't have it.
It's a pretty hard temptation not to want to go out.
Especially a night out when you know you had the next day off, like, we were rock stars. Next we got a gig, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good real, and then you realise you've, in the past, you've ruined yourself. And like, let's try it again. Let's see if it works out this again.
Well, yeah, it's happened twice. So that one, remember we did it in Manly at the upstairs at the Hotel Stain. It's like around Christmas.
Oh, but it was back end of the year.
Yeah, and I just completely lost my voice. It wasn't I couldn't sing high. I just couldn't. It was just like,
Yeah.
That really hurt. It's kind of like you get halfway through the show and you're like, I'm not sure what to do because if we sing at low octave, it sounds weird. So that's like, you just gotta be super careful. For all you singers out there, don't fuck your voice up.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Yeah, it'll happen. It happened to our singer in my covers band, and he had to take a long time off. So, yeah, I'll make sure I don't do that.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear for you.
Especially the high range voices, or you just can't, especially like back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, Fraze has like one of those power voices where like you've got to turn the mic way down, which I kind of like because
Just a fucking loud prick.
well,
actually.
Michael Anthony from Van Halen had the same issue. They would have to like tell him to stand at the back end of the room when they recorded backing vocals because he was so loud.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't. Powerful voices, you can't control. Like, it sounds great when it's like high range, but to get it recorded, it's like you gotta really like get it compressed and.
Yeah, turn the gain right down,
Yeah,
but
if
then you
sort of
lose
all
the
or
texture.
nothing, really.
You can't
so-
turn the person down because you turn the person, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you got it's one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, our whole EP was done with me being sick for the vocals.
Well, it turned out alright.
It did. Oh, man, it took a long time. So what was supposed to be 3 days of mixing, which I was on a budget, like tight fucking budget. Our mixer guy, he threw his back out on the second night.
Yeah.
So he couldn't do it for the rest of the week, and then he was fine the next week, and that's when I started getting a cold. And I think I must have gone through 10 to 20 cups of tea one of the days when we did the Point of Love song. That should have taken me an hour or two.
Yeah.
Took all day. So we ended up adding 2 extra days. When I say we, I did.
Yeah.
That's an extra $1,600. And then he had to spend an extra day mixing because there's about 15 guitar parts on our songs because you've got to double everything. And then we ended up tripling the rhythm guitar parts because I added an extra guitar thing over the top. And then there's harmonized guitars and each part's doubled. It took him ages, so it ended up costing me like 7 or 8 days worth.
Wow.
But it was all worth it in the end. It was fun. It was good.
We
Worked
definitely
out
got a
for you
product
guys.
from it.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part really about it all.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier that how you made a band just to play at Frankie's. Did you play anywhere before Frankie's to get into Frankie's?
No, so someone introduced me to Frankie's when at first I was like, this place is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that also stopped me was that I didn't have a singer.
Yeah.
So I never used to be able to sing that high. I could sing okay, but I couldn't sing that well. And it suddenly, in about 2015, I was listening to The Darkness and Hot Leg, which was Justin Hawkins' band when he left The Darkness. And he sing this song and he goes super high, and I was walking around the house, I was like, holy shit, I just hit that note. I was just like, hey, here we go. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just sing. I was like, I'll take a punt, I'll see if we can sing. And I had home like shitty, I had like GarageBand at the time and a few mics, and I just recorded a demo of our first single, Primal Heat, and I think I did an early version of Heart Attack actually, which we only released last year.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a bit of a wordsmith too, so that goes all right. That's all right.
I do all right. I'm not great. And I was dating a girl at the time who was very good friends with Phil Gannon, who used to be my boss at Cargo Bar back about 14 years ago. So he knew who I was, and he had been working at Beresford when my other band had been playing there.
Connections are really good.
So it was like, she was like, Phil said, yeah, just send it to him and he'll give it to Jordan. And this is what I loved about Frankie's. We were no one. We had no one cared about us. No one knew who we were. No one was going to turn up to the show. And prior to Frankie's, that's basically, unless someone was willing to give you a support spot, or you had 50 or 60 friends who were going to come along, which is kind of hard after about 23 or 24. no one's gonna book you. Well, it's just like everyone suddenly has a job or has a family. Like no one wants to fucking, especially in Manly, no one wants to come all the way to like the fucking bald-faced stag. When they could be like you know.
It's a rough place that bull-faced.
Yeah, so they're not gonna give you a spot. So you kind of like it's like, oh, you know, if you can bring fans. I was like, we don't have any fans because we haven't played any shows. And with Jordan, it was like, I really like the song. I really like your sound. Yeah. Come play. Yeah. And when we spoke a lot about it when we first started, when I first met him, we started playing. He was just like, it's just such a great way of booking. It's like, we don't care who you are, if you're on Triple J or not, how many fucking fans you have. If your music is great and it suits the bar, you can play.
Yeah, that's the theme.
I think that's the problem with a lot of venues is they want like copycats or they want, you know,
people who are already
stuff that's
they want free business.
But the problem is with the stuff that's, you know, trending in the media is a lot of it seems to be, you know, from like one band is successful and then they'll seem to back a bunch of like copycats of the same thing.
It's been happening since the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's been happening since before that.
That's what a good thing about Frankie's is that they don't give a shit about popularity.
Yeah.
Because the people who turn up to Frankie's, they just want to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Your stuff plays. Your stuff is like rock and roll, like stuff like you guys and other bands have been there. The people who go there are just die-hard rock and roll, hard rock fans. They just listen to whatever, as long as it's the theme of the place. It's the whole environment. Like, just want to rock, and that's why.
And that's all. Jordan wanted. He was just like, I don't want someone walking in and seeing some band and going, well, I never want to come back to this place again.
Well, that's it. The first time I went down the stairs when I first moved from Dubbo to Sydney, I walked down those stairs at Frankie's, and I was like, holy shit, if I'd ever been to the Sunset Strip, this is what I
that's exactly what I was like. This was like what I imagined the Rainbow was like in 1987. With all the booths and everyone just sitting in there.
And then the first time I heard muffled music coming through those doors, and I pushed the doors open, walk in the next room, and I'm like, oh, this is it. This is so good.
It's exactly the same feeling I've had, and a lot of my friends who I introduced it to were just like, this place is the best. I was like, right.
Yeah. Can I just ask a question? Have any of you guys ever been kicked out of Frankie's?
No, I've had friends kicked out of Frankie's, and it's really embarrassing because I'm friends with Sabrina and Jordan, and they do that thing where they don't kick them out. They're like, hey man, could you just talk to your friend? I'm like, you want to kick them out? Fucking kick them out, because I'm not taking responsibility for whatever they do, because it's not I know I'd rather you guys be happy than they like fucking.
Man, they've got a good.
That's brutal, dude.
They've got a good.
My mate Henry, he must have been kicked out every time he's come because he gets.
He's been very unlucky.
He doesn't get that drunk, but he gets super like loose. Like he looks like he's really drunk, so they're like, yeah, he's gonna go. And they're like, your mate. And I was like, just take him. Like, I don't. Like what? It's just it's. I've never been kicked out. I don't think you would have ever been drunk enough to be kicked out. He's he's Pete's designated driver whenever we have a show.
Well, you got a bass amp like this, and you got a drum kit, and you got to get it down there. Oh, it's a pain in the ass.
You hear that? No, that's the bass player for the guys who can't see behind the camera. I'm just encouraging him to be the deso for an extra.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, you remember your gigs so much better when you're sober. I tell you, I've forgotten some good gigs.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well, the Ampeg's not going to fit on the bus, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. That's not.
Yeah, like.
Well, you can sit in the handicap zone.
No, I'm just not doing that.
Or the pram zone.
After 6 o'clock, there's free parking up to 6 on that street.
Yeah.
Well, that's
it's fine.
Yeah,
all the band members sit there.
Yeah.
I mean that little back room too.
Oh, down the fun room.
Yeah, what used to be the green room. So that used to be the green room for the bands, and then they just were like, let's make it a bar.
Yeah, well, it's a good bar now because it's
Where
so
is
chilled
this room? Because I've never
So you know
seen it.
the stage, right?
Yeah.
The right side is like a hidden door on the right side. So
It's
you
like a fire
open the
exit.
door. It's like a fire exit. So there's stairs that go up and stairs that go down. When you go down the stairs, there's another door. So when you open it, it's like another part of Frankie. So the music is playing. It's like dimmed. Great. It's probably the best bartender. Used to work there. Jamie used to work there. He's moved now. So you walk in.
Where is he now, Paul?
I think he's moved into New South Wales, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's like an extra room. Shout out to Jamie. Good man. So we will go down the stairs and you open the door. It's like another, like a fun room. Like music are playing, booths, like 2-3 booths. And there's like bar stools along the bar. But it's got whiskey upon whiskey.
I have never discovered
I've never
this room.
seen it, though.
Have you never been in the room?
I've never walked through the doors.
Oh my god!
I have never got that far through Frankie.
Wow, yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's a doorway.
It's
Like
super calm and chilled and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
small.
yeah.
It's almost like a Japanese bar that it's just the bar and there's
Yeah.
like 2 booths. You can fit maybe 20 people in there.
Yeah.
Wow,
totally.
because Wicked Things hinted at last week's, and I've just been playing into my mind. I was like, where the fuck is the secret room?
Right. When you go to Frankie's, go straight in and just go to the right of the stage.
I'll
and go
take
downstairs.
Hamish. I'll
Yeah.
take you there next time.
You got to show me.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's
Well,
good if you
yeah.
want to get away from the noise.
Yeah, because the toilets are unisex
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. If anyone,
You can come on and invite.
I think that's where everyone
Yeah,
goes
oh,
as well.
well, that's
right?
where the fun. That's why it's got a fun
That's the
room
fun
for a
room, yeah.
reason.
Yeah,
Not saying anything why it's got a fun room, but could be one thing or another.
I mean, I
Use your
wouldn't. I
imagination.
don't.
Sure, mate.
yeah. So anyway, guys, what's been the best moment of your career as a band so far?
Probably for us, for me personally, at the end more. That was fantastic.
I could imagine.
That was good fun.
Yeah.
Recording's always fun.
Yeah.
New songs, coming out. It's always good.
Yeah.
Running ideas past each other. So
Well, no, I think for me it's hearing the songs when the mixes are final and the masters are final.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because in my other band, I get the opportunity to play these insanely big shows, so that kind of takes away the excitement of doing it with us. However, in saying that, when it's your own music and you get to do it, it's like a whole. It's way more exciting than doing it for something else.
Yeah.
But like, I still prefer playing in a small room like Frankie's,
Yeah.
and because you can interact with people and it's
Yeah.
sweaty and it's like I never used to understand that when bands would say that. I think highlight would definitely be the first time we did Primal Heat and we got the single back and I got to play it and it played on the radio. That was exciting. They played it on Triple M. And obviously,
wow.
these days it's a bit like that means fuck all. But at
No,
the
no,
time, it
it's-
was
we-
like, this is great.
When we were sussing out your Instagram, I was like, guys, they've been on Triple M. Like that. I was like, wow.
Well, they wouldn't play our last 2 singles because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first one was too heavy,
Oh,
and then the
please.
second one was
So how heavy? Do you
not
have to be
heavy
for
enough. Well,
Triple M?
I don't know. But then Higo did that Distortion show, which he put Primal Heat on that, which was the song that got played on that in the first place. But that is great that they've got that now, that digital station, because now they're more
Yeah.
inclined to play the local stuff and the heavier stuff, and
Yeah.
I think it's time they kind of. I mean, it's radio. It's kind of past now. Like
Yeah.
it's all just Spotify playlists
I
and
feel like
YouTube. now.
radio is on the way out. in a
Oh, it's
way.
on the way out.
Yeah. Like
Well,
you-
Hayden James' manager. So Hayden James went to Barker with me. I'm friends with him. He's like electronic artist,
yeah.
and I played guitar with him for a tour. And his manager is based in the US, and he was just like, "No one cares about radio."
Yeah.
And it's like no one is interested. It's all like, if you've got a good relationship with Spotify, you see.
Yeah. I felt like radio's on the way out when I saw the contract deals for Kyle and Jackie O, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but they're more into pop, like Contract is more into pop stuff, where they play like stuff of like pop up. Triple M, I think Triple M keep Triple M because they play
Pop for rock people.
like
Pop for you, exactly. Right. You're exactly correct.
yeah, but at the same time it's really cool to listen to and they're real
Yeah.
laid back.
I'm more of a smooth man
Yeah.
myself.
Smooth.
Smooth
Oh, yeah.
FM.
I'm a channel slut.
Yeah,
Every time I hear it,
I've
advertisement,
got like a converter where it changes my Spotify to the radio, so I could just.
Oh yeah. So I just run my
Yeah.
Spotify too.
Yeah.
It's funny because we're in like such an age of advertising is just not a thing now. You just subscribe to something and there's
Yeah.
no ads, so you get so used to that. As soon as an ad comes on, you're like, what am I? Change.
Especially when you're at a party when someone's got nose premium on the.
Yeah,
Spotify.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that's
look,
the worst.
just put my phone
No.
on.
No,
Use
the
my-
The best
Your
one is.
invite at a party should
Yeah.
depend on whether you have
Yeah.
do you have Spotify Premium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No, I
best
don't.
one was at
For
Sorry.
those who
I was
don't,
at a
and
small-
those who do, welcome to the.
That's a
welcome
great.
to the-
The best one was at a small gathering at a New Year's Eve party, and then the ad was, "There's 5 minutes to go until New Year's Day. Hope you got 5 minutes to go." And then 10 seconds later, the next song plays. But we're playing like metal,
Yeah.
so it went from Manowar to
Manowar.
like
Yes.
Nah,
like
those-
it went from Manowar to like
those
All
Spotify ads,
Perfect
they're
and all
just
that and all that.
diabolical.
Yeah. So between these heavy songs, you hear this. There's 5 minutes to New Year's Day.
Everyone's
then-
just looking
and
around,
then-
not sure what to
yeah.
do.
And then it'll kick into like Megadeth or something straight after. Then 3 songs later, it'll be like, There was 2 minutes ago now. Like that's what the ads were like.
I'll just stop you there, Paul.
Yeah.
Shout out to any of those people who aren't paying for Spotify or aren't paying to Apple Music.
That's it.
Fucking pay for the services and do everyone a favour.
Help
If
us
you're
out.
not paying for the services, do not connect your
Yeah.
phone to any kind of Bluetooth speaker or aux cord at the party
Yeah.
because no one wants to hear the fucking
It's
advertisement.
True. Well
$9 a month for Spotify, and even if you're negative, it'll still pull out money from your negative.
And
account.
if you're a musician, it's tax deductible.
There you go.
Any,
There you go. Sold.
any kind of music where you're doing, you pay for that. You deduct that from your salary. Anything like concert tickets, great. Concert
Yeah.
tickets, anything like that, it's tax deductible.
Absolutely.
It's great. So no excuses. Spotify Premium. Spotify, play us more on your playlists.
Bit of a plug, bit of a plug right there.
Yeah.
Bit of business.
One.
Give us free stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Just going back to what you're saying about really heavy music, that's something we have a challenge with because the modern metal is so much
It's so
heavier
hard
than
to
what
get
we
into
are.
as well, yeah.
And it's just, for me, I've always been more into that older 80s stuff just because I like the singing and the guitar stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you try not to pigeonhole yourself into it because, you know, the good bands take bits from that and bits from that. But it's like, we just have too much fun doing it. So it's like, when it's like, for some people it's just like not metal or the idea of us isn't metal, but then like they'll watch it and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's not cool to like us. So that's always a bit of a challenge to try and find the right kind of, do we go all the way over there or do we find some good middle ground or do
Yeah,
we
so-
try and make our music a bit heavier?
Yeah. So on that topic, so when you talk about heavy, do you go as far as pop as like maybe pop rock like the Struts? Would you go as far as the Struts what they play?
I'd say they're about in the same ballpark as us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? I don't know. They're different. They're different to us.
They're
They're more of a
different,
like a
yeah.
Led Zeppelin-y sound, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
mixed with like the darkness kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Whereas we're more
I reckon
like
that's like the limit to what we're on into.
yeah. We're
Anything
more of,
further you'd have.
we're more of like that, but like there's probably more Bon Jovi in us, I guess, than Zeppelin. But that's like for me, it's always been
like
Van
it's hard to
Halen.
get a Zeppelin sound without sounding like Zeppelin.
Exactly.
Because we're
Yeah.
a great Van Fleet. They sound good.
Oh yeah.
They sound good.
They sound
how they
just
are,
like.
but they're popular
Zeppelin.
because
Yeah,
how they are. But
exactly.
you don't want to copy as much.
It's like Airborne. They're popular because they sound like
Oh, they're
AC/DC.
amazing. I saw Airborne at Download last year, and I reckon
Oh,
they
yeah.
rocked out better than Slayer that day.
They're really good.
They were amazing. They just had Melbourne bitter. I've not seen Melbourne bitter beers. They got them from wherever they're Melbourne. Just cracking them, just throw them into the crowd.
Brilliant.
My mate was on the shoulder. He grabbed one of them, chugged
Oh,
it,
awesome.
and it was amazing. Yeah, and they just played some bangers. They were just so entertaining that
I
day.
had the pleasure of meeting Airborne when I was like young, and I was like,
When you say young, you're 21.
Well,
man.
I'm 21. So
How young?
Define.
when I was about,
I've literally been playing guitar
when I was about like
exactly
when I
the
was
same
about
amount of
14 or
time.
15 years old, right? I would go to this guitar shop because there's only two in Dubbo, and there's one that's in reach from the bus station, and I'd kind of go down there and hang out and
Would've been
you know, wait for
totally
my mum
music,
to
wouldn't
pick
it?
me up. And I'm kind of going down there, and one day I see these guys kind of pull up in this car with a bunch of Marshall stacks in the back, and they're playing at this one place in Dubbo called the Old Bank, and I was like, wow, who are you guys? And someone's like, about to meet out there, everyone. And I was like, that's a cool name. And they're like, yeah. And then these guys came out and they're like, how are you, dude? And I was like, yeah, I play guitar. And they're like, oh, that's sick. And I was like, they like me.
So you would have been like what, like
Yeah,
Like really young.
8, 6?
They would've had all their albums out by then.
Because they were probably like, I'm not sure, maybe I was a bit earlier than that, but I was like going down and having this.
That makes me feel so fucking old.
Settle down.
don't be
Sure.
like that.
It does.
Come
I
on.
feel old 10 years ago, like because I used to teach guitar, and you just watch these kids like grow. Suddenly they're out of high school, and you're like, I don't feel any older. And now you're like so much older.
Yeah.
You understand when you get into your 30s. Suddenly, because you mix with such a broad range of people, you forget like, well, 10 years ago, it's like watching the F1 and you see like Charles Leclerc. It's like 10 years ago, he was like 10 years old racing like go-karts. Oh, this is really weird. 10 years ago, I was like in my mid-20s, thinking that maybe I've got about 5 years left to play professional sport.
Life lessons from Big Red Fire Truck.
Mate,
Yeah.
what's for all
Yeah.
that?
Bit deep over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Young
good.
old men
It's good.
playing old music for the young people who
So
don't
what-
know it.
So guys, what advice would you give to the kids out there that want to start a band or want to start playing music? What would you give them?
Play the music that you really want, not the music that you think you should play.
That's good advice.
Find people that really enjoy playing with you and you're willing to be honest with ideas. If you cannot be honest if you can't say to each other, fucking hate that idea,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to progress like you could Because if you don't take it personally, you know. It's like if I bring an idea to Frazer and he's just like, "That's shit, man. We're not doing that."
Yeah.
I'll go back and find something better and come, or I'll just go, "No, we're playing it, mate. Too bad." Like that's good because for me, like, great, I get to play my song. But in the end, if no one actually likes the song, it probably means no one else. Like, there's a good chance it's not going to go that well. So you got to be quite honest with what you like. Be positive with what you do like, but be negative what you don't like. Tell them but be constructive.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid of failing. Just try shit. If you're scared you're going to get it wrong, you're probably going to do a worse job than if you think it's going to go great and it falls on its ass. There's probably going to be 10 people up the back go, that shit was awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many people fail because they're so scared of kind of like coming out of their shell.
Yeah.
But it takes time. You just got to play show after show after.
That's so interesting too, because every time I think I'm going to have a really good gig, it's really shit.
Yeah.
And every time I'm a bit nervous for it, it turns out good. It's, I don't know, it's this weird kind of stuff.
It's all about if there's 100 people at a gig, all it takes is 20 people to like it, and it goes from there. And then 500 people takes 200 people to like it. All it needs is a small amount. Yeah. They'll push out. It just branches out to bigger things.
Oh, also, if people hate you, you're doing something good. Because it means that because if people go out of the way to hate what you're doing, it means that so many other people fucking love what you're doing.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we should wrap it up here.
Right.
What final words does Big Red FIRETRUCK have to say?
Take it out.
Be excellent to each other.
Good advice.
Party on, dude.
Party on.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Wild stallions.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Thanks for having us, guys. Really
worries.
Anytime, guys. You guys have been amazing.
Thank you.
Good luck in the future.
Driving out all the way from
the
North
beaches.
Sydney.
And hopefully we'll catch you guys at your first live gig back.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to
Looking
date.
forward to
It's
No
I don't know when we're allowed to say we're doing it, but it's
so we'll let you
very
guys
soon.
announce it first.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll come back when we've got some music to release.
Absolutely.
No worries. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys.
Easy.
No worries.
Thank you
Anytime,
very much.
boys.
Cheers.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, man.